Hello, welcome to Woody's Works. I've got a cameraman today so you can see me. This is a unboxing of this bike. Customers bought in. It's a Chinese bike, straight out of China. Extreme Gym BYKKA. We've looked online and these look like they make more gym equipment than they do bikes, but they've gone into bikes because there's so many people wanting them, I think. So I'm going to take this out, show you what it's like inside. It does say it's to CE mark there, so it's the European standards, and that standard mark there, so it does say that it is to particular standards. There's no British standard mark on it. I doubt very much it's to British standards, to be honest. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Straight off the bat, it has poked through the box on this side. There, that's the gear. The gears are there, the rear mech, so it's poked through there. So we don't know what damage that caused. On the other side, it's poked through on the wheel nut. So let's have a look at it. Right, it's a folding full suspension bike, steel frame. Let's see if we can get it out. Pretty stuck because it's broke through the box. There we go. So there's the bike as it comes out the box. Packaging's not too bad. Doesn't look to be scratched up, which they generally am. So we'll cut all the stuff off it and have a look. It looks to have double wall rims. Whether they have double wall, you'd have to check, because a lot of these Chinese bikes look like they've got double walls. Then when you take the center of the tube out, they're actually single wall. This guy's is double walls, just to make it look a little bit better. I'm not going to take the tyre off, so I wasn't going to know that for a fact, but I would consider that when you're buying one. Have a quick look. I'll look down there, see if it's a single wall. It is actually a double wall wheel, so very too bad. Bearings are pretty rough in that wheel. This is also a disc brake bike, and if you notice, this is the front wheel. It's a disc brake bike, and it's got a thread on it. With these cheap bikes, you find that the disc brake mount screws onto the wheel, which is a bit crazy, to be honest. Most quality ones have got a CNC machined up or a forged up or something like that. It's already got the mount on it that the disc mounts onto. This one screws on, so we'll have a look at that disc in a minute. Not the best really. For instance, not that you're going to do it, but if you put the brakes on and roll the bike backwards, it'll undo it off here. So you've got to be careful of that. Let's get it unpacked. So what I find with a lot of these when people build them, because it comes like this, you can see that the forks are actually backwards and they're stemming it all the way around. So I've had quite a few in where the forks have been backwards, and the handlebars have been on, and the disc's been on the wrong side. So you don't want that to happen, obviously. The other thing is the handlebars come like this, which looks like they're upside down. People have been putting them on that way around. I've had a lot in with the handlebars upside down. So make sure that you do flip the handlebars around before you put them on. There's no centre mark on these, but flip them around before you put them on. Make sure they're on the right around. I've had a couple of them where customers have threaded these because they're cheap. The bolts don't seem to go in very far, so they tend to over tighten them and thread them. But yeah, we'll just stick it together and then we'll come back to you. Well, we've got this disc brake here, and this is what I was talking about. You can see there, normally this would be already attached to the hub, it'd be part of the hub. This one's threaded and it screws on, and the 6 bolts are already in there. Luckily, it does look like it's international standard 6 bolts. Some of them are not. The pattern's out, or you've got one full disc on there that you can't get hold of. So this just screws onto here. So normally you'd think that was a rear wheel because of that thread, but that just screws on there like that. Got to be careful with these because this is a fine thread. It's the same as if you come to cross thread a free wheel that you're screwing on. So that just screws on there like that. The only way of really tightening it is to put it on, hold the brake on and pull the wheel around. But that's the way that fits, completely different to a quality bike, these Chinese ones. So I'll carry on building it and then we'll come back to it. Right, the bike has been roughly put together. Things are still loose on it, but we just put it together to show you what it looks like. BYKKA F6 Sport, new bike. I think that's an F4 BYKKA right down there. You can see it's got a scratch down there from where it's been in the box. Also, the guard for the rear mech has been bent really far inwards because it's been out of the box. So that's not gonna let it change down here. So that it's only cheapo metal, as you can see. You can bend that out, and that'll allow it to change down. What I want to talk to you about on this bike is the shifters, the rear mech and the front mech. If you look at these, at a distance, look like Shimano. Look exactly the same as Shimano. But if you look closely, the name on them is Shimeng. Can you see that with the light? Yeah. So it's spelled S-H-I-M-E-N-G. The G is supposed to look like an O. It's supposed to look as close as it can to Shimano. To fool you into thinking that they are, and they do look very, very close to Shimano. They've got the metal levers on them, the shifters look the same, they've even got low on this shifter down there, which you'd find on Shimano, so they look very similar, and they've also done the same on the rear mech down there. Let me change it down so you can see on there as well, that also says, that says Shimeng as well. Looks very much like Shimano, and they've gone as far as to write down here that says Tourney. Now normally on a Shimano it'd say Tourney, T-O-U-R-N-E-Y. They've put an M on there which looks like an R and an N together. Also you've got this would say SIS on Shimano, and it says SIE on here. It's just all made to look like Shimano when it's not, and it doesn't change well. It changes terribly. It doesn't matter what you do trying to set it up, it will not change well. I don't know if the spring's not strong enough, but it just will not come down very well. So that's what to look out for on this particular bike. You've got this shock that makes it look like it's a sort of air canister. It's a spring covered in 2 pieces of plastic. The spring's absolutely tiny in there, so it's going to have no trouble whatsoever in it. It's a folding mountain bike. This folding mechanism's absolutely horrendous. That tends to fall to bits. It has got one saving grace for the bike. It's got a sealed bottom bracket in there. So down there you can see it has got a sealed bottom bracket rather than a loose running bottom bracket. It has got steel crank arms, so it comes with a stand on there. The brakes do work, but they're very difficult to set up and not have them rubbing. You'd have to tend to bend the discs around a bit. Forks, just going to have elastomers in them. Very bouncy with no damping or rebound control. So basically you hit a rock and they're just going to completely rebound back up towards you. But don't know what price the bike is. Like I say, it's a customer's bike and I don't want to put it down, but the best thing to do is avoid them if possible. But I know that it's difficult to get bikes at the moment, so there's a lot of people buying bikes like this, trying our best to set them up and make sure that they work well, but there's not a lot you can do with them to make them brilliant. The headsets are always tight. This seal round here tends to get trapped and make them really tight. The wheels are buckled, and absolutely everything's loose. It comes with these little bar ends here. Them go on there. Don't know how safe they're going to be. Don't know how well they'll hold on, but comes with them very uncomfortable bar ends. So that's that bike, the BYKKA new bike F6. Avoid if possible.